Go live.
Time to go live. That's right. Here we go. And we are getting launched live. It is March 17th, 2022. Welcome to all our wonderful LHS members. We got our magnificent Eddie with us today. Wouldn't be a Thursday without Eddie. We got Rose. We got Alec. Alec's in San Francisco today. No more beach for Alec. That's not it for today. We got Susan. Great to see you, Susan. Stu, hey, good to see you. How are you? Sarah's here. Jewel is here. Oh, great to have you here. Here's Joseph. We were just on a call. Good to see you, Joseph. We got Sheila and we got Allison and Iris. And here's our other Joseph. Great to see you here as well. And we got Elise and Rima is here. Good to have you here, Rima. Teresa's here. Shak is coming online. Here he comes. Hey, Shak. And Julia and so many are joining. Deborah came online as I was saying all of that. So that's great. Well, today I'll share with you. Today is actually a holiday. In the calendar of the moon, it's Purim. And, I don't like to go into anything that's super in one direction, but I like to take current events and then use them as our topic. And it also ties in perfectly to what Eddie and I were talking about right before our conversation on Tuesday. So we'll kind of shape our conversation around that. And so this day, the essence of what is behind it, it's basically a type of Halloween, right? So if I grew up in Israel for my formative years, and it's a really, really big deal. So everyone gets dressed up and goes out into the streets, and there's big floats. So when I say Halloween, I don't mean like the trick-or-treating kind of thing, but the dress up. I even prepped here some cute little accessories here to make you all smile. And so, it's all about, St. Patrick's Day too. Whoo, see, I didn't do my homework well. And I knew it was St. Patrick's Day. I could have pulled something from that. Well, you know what? Fine. We'll use the leprechauns. I'll tie it all in. Great. We got it all in. Thanks, Susan. And so I was talking about Israel. And so, yeah. And then also the idea is that you give each other gifts. So you kind of exchange these gifts, between friends or just, teachers and, kind of like we do on Christmas where, you kind of give all the people that you really love, you give some kind of gift. And so it's usually, chocolates or sweets or treats, fruits, whatever. And then the essence of this day, again, without getting into the tale of it, but it's all about having this hidden identity, things that were hidden, things that were kept secret. And then from that space, when, there comes this big reveal of what's going on, and this ties in with the leprechauns, it ties in, it must, then with that sharing of the essence of who you truly are, and now you can see kind of where we're going with this conversation, then millions of people were saved, right? So that's kind of the story of this event. And again, I don't know, I didn't do my research on St. Patrick's Day, but if we think about the rainbows, the leprechauns, and the magic, and kind of that, hidden, but then revealed, it will tie into what we're going to talk about today. And so tying this into something that can be a great topic for all of us. If we look culturally right now, and what is being encouraged in the media, and especially like social media and things like that, it's all about, portraying this perfect picture of life. Here's this picture and I'm having all this fun with my friends, with my family. I'm traveling here. I've done this, I've done that. And just these pictures or these moments in time get uploaded, and then people kind of build this whole fantasy around what that person's life is. And it's very kind of like this story, right? Because you're just portraying some kind of image, and then actually life for you is happening very differently. And there's something very profound about speaking your truth. And I think that people know when you're speaking truth. It's something that can be sensed, not always, of course, there are exceptions to that, but, it's like there is this inner knowing of, oh, wow, that is truth, or that speaks to me on a deeper level. And oftentimes here on these calls a lot, when all of you students, come up and share stories, and it's happened with Alec a lot and with Eddie, and just revealing their truth and their story has a very profound impact on others. And it has this very, it really can shape their world. It can help them, either build self-belief, confidence, self-trust, those kinds of things that we're on this journey of a lifetime to build, really. And, if we take a look at even people that, let's say, you're following someone, if we're keep staying with that example of like social media and all these things, it's really those moments of like deep reveal, right? Those posts where somebody comes and exposes, oh, this is happening to me and I feel this way and I've gone through this and I'm doing that. And that you're like, wow, now I really appreciate this person even more. And I can really relate to that person. And there's another thing about truth is that truth, will always kind of find its way to the surface, it's just is the way it is. And I think that us as people, as humans on this journey, we're always in search of like our deepest truth, the essence of who we are. What are we doing? What are we here to do? What are we here to create? How are we evolving and growing this lifetime? And that brings me, into that idea that Eddie and I were talking about at the beginning of the call on Tuesday, where he was kind of showing his superhero shirt, and that he is this manifesto and he's manifesting his life and that's his superpower. And oftentimes, that hidden truth, that hidden talent, that thing inside of you. And I know I've been asked on this call, like, how do I know what my calling is? How do I know what my purpose is? And it's through this work of kind of uncovering and of asking those questions, what are some things that you're great at? What are some things that you're great at? Rose was sharing here at the beginning of the call that she's making all these preserves and that she's, really prepping her pantry for the winter that's coming. And, she shared these stories about how other people accepted her preserves and which ones were great and which ones were not. And it sparked this interest because that's something that by now, right, Rose is great at, and that's a talent of hers. And she's able to then, inspire others by sharing the story, by sharing her preserves, people that taste it, people that see it. If we take also, Eddie's excited. If we also take an example from, Rachel sharing her talents with us in this low-hanging system, she had her hardships and she was, hidden inside of herself on that Walmart cash register, and something was bubbling up inside of her and she wasn't, ready to just kind of, just settle for that. And she created this business and it's like, okay, now I have this superpower of a business. And I am now able to inspire and share it with others. And that's a grand thing to do because, oftentimes people will really be hidden behind a label. You'll go to school, I don't know, you become an engineer and okay, hi, my name is this, I'm an engineer. Or hi, my name is that, I'm a teacher. Or hi, my name is, whatever, and I'm a business person. And we get this label. And as life kind of continues to evolve and pass, we get attached to that label, to that one thing, this is who I am. Hi, and then we ask these questions. Oh, so what do you do? Hi, so-and-so, what do you do? Oh, well, I am this and this. And then, what is your continuous answer to that? And I say for this call, and maybe if you get intrigued, maybe after this call, you take it even a little bit deeper, that we are more than one thing. We are more than just the one label. All of us. We know Alec has shared with us. He says, I'm writing this screenplay. I'm filming. I also have this job. I did this school. I'm on a low-hanging system, and I'm just kind of pulling because Alec is right in front of me. And, we do all of these things. For me, always the answer is, I have all of these businesses. I am also a teacher. I also have this factory, all these things that I do together. It's not just the one label. I'm a mother. And so those, that all together becomes your superpower. And then when we relate, and I want to pause on this for just a minute to really make sure that I'm getting the point across, because I feel like we don't spend enough time in praise of ourselves and our talents. We don't spend enough time acknowledging the amazing things that we do. And you can even start it now, because I have a couple of minutes before I kind of let you all speak. Just to kind of summarize the whole topic, but you can start already writing down or thinking about your talents and your strength. Like, what are your hidden things, or not so hidden anymore, because you've already, exposed them. You're a great baker. You're a great gardener. You're a wonderful mother or person. You're, I don't know, you speak many languages. You, play an instrument, and whatever it is, right? You start writing down all of the things that you are great at. And I think the more that we do this, at least, the list will be very long. It won't be this short list of, I've studied this, I have these many children, or this family, or whatever I've done, and it'll be done, kind of like we present ourselves to others. We start to slowly see what a complex person, and, how much is hidden within us, and how much we have to offer the world. And that's how you start to find your superpower, your purpose, your, what moves you. This also ties into our core values. We've done this exercise once before, but I'll kind of just kind of sprinkle it in here so that you can, use that a little bit. Because our core values, which means something that you are willing to stand for, like you will not, let anybody tear down one of your core values, no matter what. There's a conversation, doesn't matter who the person is, they touch one of your core values, let's say integrity, and you are ready to go, and same thing in a workplace, same thing in a relationship. And so when we start to know what those core values are, and we understand that they fuel our superpower, they fuel, what we're great at, because, we want to, let's say integrity, we want to be this, very, person that stands behind their word and does the things that they want to say and participate, and those kinds of things. So, if we're in a situation and we see someone tearing down somebody else, or not working with the same ethic, or not being in integrity, it's like everybody's excited. This is great. I love it. Thanks, Alec. Thanks, Jacques. Then, we're going to really pull out all of our fire from the inside and say, hey, this is not right. Like, this is not okay. And I'm not okay with what's happening right now. And I'm, willing to have this conversation, or even to really hash this thing out, because I'm not going to just stand by and let you do things that harm one of my core values, which is integrity. And so that's another great activity, to start digging through those layers, to start understanding, what is your superpower? What are you great at? And to just kind of tie that into how I began with this whole holiday. Everybody gets into a state of dress up, right? Everybody dresses up and goes out. And so you kind of act as something different, or you put on this costume that makes you different, or maybe you even try something, you kind of push yourself on this edge, and you dress up as something that you wouldn't before. And that really, it sparks that idea of creativity. And it also allows you to see that there are so many shades of you. There are so many shades of you. And there are, fantastic things that you've done and are doing in this lifetime. And to be able to honor that, to be able to acknowledge that, to be able to celebrate that. Let's put it that way, because that's another thing. And I'll wrap it up with this. That's another thing that I think culturally, you're not supposed to boost yourself up. You're not supposed to say, hey, I'm great at this, or I'm great at that. You're supposed, oh, hey, okay, we'll figure it out, or, we'll see, or something like that, just stay quiet over there. But that's really not the truth of it. If you have a talent, share it with the world so everyone can see, so that everyone can feel inspired. Share it with others. So, like Rose was talking about her preserves. Eddie was like, all these questions. Oh, so do you grow the things, or do you this? And so, if she wouldn't have brought that up, if she wouldn't have shared that, and instead of say, well, I don't need to share with everyone that I am making these preserves, then the whole conversation, the whole idea would have been washed away and non-existent. But she did have the courage to share that. And then, the wheel of that turning can then, someone else will hear it and say, hey, if she's making preserves, I can try to make preserves. Now we have YouTube. We can go on YouTube. We can pull out a recipe. Hey, I can do that. Yeah. I have a peach tree. Let's go pick some peaches and make some preserves, or whatever. And it's that courage, or that moment of standing up and sharing what it is that you're great at, and being able to, just acknowledge yourself for the wonderful things that you've done. And so that's where I'd like to have our conversation around today. I think it'll be fun. It ties in with our superhero theme, Eddie, that we were talking about right before. And I think it aligns with St. Patrick's Day. I'll just kind of make that assumption without looking too deep into it. Leprechauns in the pot of gold, our gold of heart, the heart of gold, or whatever. And we get to share that. And so let's hear from you. Let's hear from you. Share your talents, share the things that you're great at, share your superpower. And not only that, I'm going to challenge you a step further. If you're, because I see all these hands up. And so that means that you've thought about this, that you're, because, sometimes it takes us a little bit of time to start writing things down and figuring it out. But if you're already, you already understand that, how are you going to share this with others? How are you going to inspire others? Yes, we have the low-hanging system. We have our platform, and we're able to share ideas, just like Eddie was talking about in the beginning, with the creativity. All of his creativity can flow, his drawings, his designs. That's a fantastic outlet. Hey, Scott, glad you made it. Didn't see you sign in the beginning, so I'm glad you made it. And so, that's our conversation for today. So just sharing our talents, our superpowers, and then how we're able to then share it with the world. And, by doing that, by spreading the light, by sharing the love, we make this world a brighter place. It is true. It might be cliche and written in all the songs, but it is true. And I feel like that's a big, big purpose of why we're here. It's not to stay hidden. It's not to keep our true self from being revealed. It's not to, and I'll just add just a tiny little note on that. If you look in the history of things, when people keep and lock away, things that are deep inside themselves, like even trauma and things like that, you see patterns throughout their lifetime of things that happen because of that. So the truth isn't meant to be hidden. The truth is meant to be revealed, and we're meant to celebrate that, and we're meant to have fun. This day, with that holiday is all about having fun, having laughs, really letting it all go. So let's hear from Eddie to begin. Do we have the shirt? He changed to the shirt. Yay. Good. We could see the shirt. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether I want to talk about this shirt, because that'll take me on. Okay. I can. But anyway, look, everybody has the freedom to do whatever it is they're inspired to do. Everybody. We came in this world free. Think about it now. You a little baby, you were so free, your parents had to put pillows around you in the bed to keep you from falling out of it. Or then they had to put you in this little, what do you call it, with the bars on it, like you in prison now, because you're running all over the house. You get to your terrible twos and your frantic fours and your sensational sixes and running around because you were born free. All this was taken away by systems. Even people start telling you who you are, and people get poor self-esteem. You're talking about the Irish, that potato blight of the 1850s, a lot of them are still hurting over that. I mean, they're mad, because they and you don't like to be governed by your past, but things come up for a reason. Freedom is this. What are you called to do? Rose and I were just talking, and as soon as I mentioned her passion, she rose up like a rose and started blossoming. And all I did was interview. And she just, like we've been talking all the time, like we've been knowing each other. She's on the other side of the world and talk about it, See, and that's pointing towards something. The universe is telling her, whatever you want to do with this is yours. I mean, come on, that's how Betty Crocker, Duncan Hines, Little Debbie has a snack for you. I mean, that's how they all started. Rachel Rafay started looking at what she wanted instead of where she was. And that's the trick. Get your freedom. Do it. I want my freedom. I'm trapped on this cash register. I need this money, but I got to have better money. And she started seeing the world she wanted instead of the world she was in. Now, you have that superpower. Everybody's got that. I'm looking at Shaq now. He's grinning. He's a master Reiki healer. Now you go, some of you go, what is that? You want to look into that. You first go, That's out there. But that's his thing. I'm a change agent. Believe me. You want to just get your freedom to do what you aspire to do. I mean, look at Karen. She speaks like she can run for Congress if she wanted to, because she just the hair just flapping. She just and she's trying to give everybody a chance to speak. But she's just so bubbling over with effervescence of power. We all have that. Scott can't wait to talk. Look, all of us, we all have this. Go back to your childhood and recapture that childish stuff that made you free and see what will happen. Your life would be miraculous overnight. That's it. Thank you very much, Karen. That's what I got out of what you said.
I like it, Eddie. Are you going to share some of your hidden talents with us? Because I know some of them, writing and drawing.
Well, you got to make it a master Reiki guy here. I'm a master communicator. That's what I wanted to master. My parents, they talked in languages I didn't understand. When I tell you what I want you to move now, boy. I'm finna go to the barn. I mean, that's how they talk.
Please wait. System processing. Please follow the instructions on the pin pad.
I must learn how to, I love their language. I started putting it in writings because it's beautiful. They communicated, and I decided to raise it above and become a master communicator. And I promise you, I hear Alec talking about scripts. I can write a script as beautiful as anything. I've been in movies. I studied Shakespeare. I drew pictures. I made homemade comic books. I'm just not bragging. I'm saying I found finding out, this shirt I'm wearing, I designed it. So like I said, this low-hanging system, this is it. This is where you can get all your stuff and put it on something and sell it for a profit. Now, exactly. I'm cutting it out now because you see,
as you were talking, you're like, and I'm not bragging, but yes, I wanted you to brag. I wanted you to celebrate all of your achievements because, we know each other now for some time. And I feel like you are, so accomplished in so many ways. And you have all these talents that are within you and the things that you've done. You showed a book that you've published, you showed your drawings, you showed, all of these things that you've done throughout your lifetime. And it's worth celebrating, Eddie. It really is. It's worth acknowledging and it's worth celebrating. And we think that you're awesome. And I know that everyone, look, Shaq put in the in the comments, you inspire others when you speak. Everyone feels, wow, Eddie, that was so great. Everybody loves it. You are a master communicator. And so thank you for always speaking up and for always sharing. It's a pleasure to have you here on these calls, Eddie. We feel very blessed. Let's hear from Alec. Alec in San Francisco today.
I figured I figured, you know, I used to live there, so I just felt like today was a San Francisco day.
All right.
But yeah, I hear everybody. Well, I heard you especially. Not everybody. I mean, it was only you and Eddie who spoke, but I heard the word integrity quite a bit. And well, integrity is something that I actually have come to realize is more important than most people would think it is. And integrity was something that I dealt with for years. I just felt like at one point in my life, everybody from family to friends to old lovers to the law. Everybody had their way of just trying to always say that no, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And not once did I ever listen to anybody. Like I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And as for right now, well, I did tell you the other day I was hoping to have that book written, and by this week that will be finished by today. So that'll leave it at 7 days. Awesome. Yeah.
Celebration. Woo!
I was checking my word count, and the other day was like, oh, 12,000 words. I guess I still got more to do. And then I checked it earlier this morning, and I was like, man, I'm like 400 away from 20,000 words. And even then, I really would like to go ahead and branch it off and make it longer, but why make it longer when I can just do several other little stories? Because I mean, there's like I said, I did tell you once that that I do not regret a moment of my life, and I do not. I was talking with one of my cousins one time, and he had no life experience whatsoever. And I forgot what exactly we were doing, but he went off and he was like, hey, well, you know, I knew this guy, and like, oh yeah, I've met him before. I mean, maybe not him personally, but I've met a guy just like him. And then he'd say like, oh, well, imagine if this guy, whatever, like, yeah, used to live with him. Like, what do you mean you used to live with him? Well, not him exactly, but a guy just like him. Oh, well, what about this? Lived with him too. And it just got me to just realize that's why I started writing the book, because there is just so much that I want to reveal, just never really thought of a way about doing that, or never really thought of how to go about doing that. And integrity is a very good thing to always keep in mind. And I hear Eddie speaking sometimes, and there's nothing but integrity coming out of his voice. So Eddie, thank you. And with that, I'd just like to say, everybody, just keep pushing, keep fighting, because really that's all life really is just one big fight.
or one big journey, one big celebration. We can turn it into a celebration, can't we, Alec?
Well, you can call it celebration. I'm sorry. Wrong choice of words. Wrong choice of words. But with that, somebody else can, by all means, let somebody else have the floor. You have a good one, Miss Karen.
That's great, Alec. And yeah, I use the word integrity because when I was thinking, just as I was speaking, thinking about core values, that's one of my core values is integrity. And so it just kind of came up a lot because, and I recommend this exercise for everyone. And if you're drawing blanks of like, what are some core values, you can quick Google search and get some core values and just pull, you'll have a list of words and you'll pull, these topics or ideas or words, and they, it's something that really means a lot to you, and that that you will stand for. You won't let anyone around you mess with it. It could be family, it could be I said integrity, it could be truth. It's kind of the same. I'm drawing a blank here, but I'll think about other ones as we go along. But that's some of the let's think. We got strength, right? Community could be one. Listening, creativity, goodness. Those can be, you can think about all these kinds of things, and you can quick Google search and pull up a list of them and just look at it. So it's a great exercise to do for core values. And I'm really excited that you finished your book, Alec. You did it. And that's integrity, because you said almost finishing today. No problem. Almost. But you said, and you said, I want to be like on the other call. It was like, I want to be someone who keeps his word. I'm saying I'm going to do something. I'm going to do it. And that's what you did. And you kind of made the announcement in front of all of us. So you knew we'd hold you to it. And now we see the other end of that. And that's a celebration. That's a huge, huge, huge success. So, I see this comment go in. Well, we have changed clocks in North America. So it might, I don't know where you are, Jay, in the world, but North America has changed clocks. So that might have affected the time for you. But usually within a week or two, wherever you are in the world, I don't know, it kind of evens back out to where you were. That's kind of generally speaking. Okay, that answered your question. All right, we got shock. Yeah. Let's see. Where are you, Shock? You have to unmute yourself.
I'm trying. I like how you call me Shock, like static shock. Well, yeah, Shaq Diesel was what I used to be. Now I'm Shaq Kong. But thank you, brother Eddie Smalls, for the shout out. I am a Ray K. I like how you say it too, Ray K. You put that funk on it. Well, I am a Reiki master healer, and part of what my work is to help people to bring out more of who they are, to access deeper parts of their personality and different parts of it. And a way that can also be done is by kind of what you were talking about with this holiday. I'm not sure what it's called, but I think it's really interesting because in this interview I was watching on a show that I really enjoy called Impact Theory with Tom Bilyeu and Todd Herman. They were talking about identity and totems and how a person cannot grow past what their self-identity is. And so whatever you believe yourself to be capable of or who you are, your ego, basically won't allow you to go past that. And so it's important to have this kind of fluid view on who you are as a person who's constantly growing. And on that point, I kind of wanted to also say, because I took some notes here, that with who you are, because I'm also in another mastermind group with Evan Carmichael, who's really awesome. But he was talking about how when you are marketing yourself or doing business, a really big or a really important piece to include within your within your marketing is your story, is your personality, is who you are. Because if you are just a product and a buy and a buy button, excuse me, if you're just a product and a buy button, then you take away that factor that allows people to connect with you, because people buy kind of emotionally rather than logically. And if they can feel you, and if they can resonate with you and your story, or just how you present yourself, your originality, then that's going to really help in your favor. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to say based off of these points. I love the topics that you bring up, Karen. They're really like deep and like philosophical. Yeah. Like make you think.
What are some of your talents? Give us some of your superpowers. We know you're a Reiki master. What else you got?
Yes.
All right, good.
I'm a musician. I'm a musician. I am a martial artist. I used to practice more heavily in mixed martial arts. I was a Thai boxer, a jiu-jitsu guy, and also a wrestler throughout school. So I'm really a physical dude. I'm an athlete, so my talents really lie in physical places. But also throughout school, I was always good in English class and comprehension type stuff. Never too good with like math, but yeah, I was always kind of a writer, and I'm good at being me.
I love it.
And that translates through a bunch of other avenues,
Good. I know, and I know your mind is very, you expand it, and you're looking to learn more all the time and constantly growing. So that's awesome. I know Eddie was also a boxer. You just reminded me of another one of his hidden talents here that we learned along the way. So this is great. And you're right, because it's those little stories. Why is it important to share these little things about ourselves? It's because that's how we connect and relate to each other. We're going to remember that. We're going to take that with us, or we're going to have a conversation with someone like, oh yeah, and I know someone who and then it kind of just generates this chain reaction of memory, and it ties ties everyone together. And that's the way to really connect and make sure that we see ourselves as connected, interconnected, even though we're in vast distances or wherever we are. It just gives us that way of relating to each other. And I think that's really, really good. I'm good at being me, Eddie says. Yes. Great to have you here, Iris. All right. We got Scott. Scott is swimming with the sharks. He's living on the edge.
Yeah, careful. I might bite. Good morning, everyone. I think, there's so much to this topic. You talk about doing the things that make you come alive, that sort of spark a fire within your soul. And I'm thinking, what if we could live forever? All those things, all those labels we use would fade from one 50-year cycle to another. We wouldn't be a doctor, we wouldn't be a teacher, we wouldn't be a mother, would be all those and 10 times more, because time would not be limited. So I think what we say we are today is nothing more than what we've discovered about ourselves so far.
Right.
So in which case, those talents and abilities we have, I think that's not really us. It's only part of an evolving picture of what we can do. I do think, though, that life is very much like an Italian get-together. It's basically using the food. Our talents, abilities, and what we do is basically like food. It's an excuse to get together. It's something we do in order to touch one another's souls. Because at the end of the day, when you put it bluntly, when you die, the question is not going to be asked, what did you do?
Right.
But how did you do it? And did you touch souls? Did you love, and were you loved? That's going to be the only question that's going to count at the end of the day. How you did it won't really matter. And I think the idea of telling your truth and being who you truly are, I think that has relevance in the sense that it's a way of one soul touching another. And at the end of the day, you could be a doctor, lawyer, whatever, and you can be a horrible human being who never connects with anyone.
Right.
And like Scrooge, your life can come to its conclusion and no one will have a happy thought about you. And the people who do pass away with that miserable legacy and are forgotten very quickly, and if they are thought of at all, it's in very bad terms. That's a person who has to, according to some beliefs, has to do it again because they stuffed it up big time. They forgot the fundamental meaning of life, which is to use life as an excuse to love and be loved. And you have fun on the way, by all means. You know, do your painting, do your music, do your people caring, whatever it is. But they don't define you. I really do think that you are defined by your dreams. And if you have big dreams or small dreams, that defines the breadth of who you and what you are. But again, always, I think when you talk of dreams or goals or anything that you want to achieve, they have to be something that have a moral or a human context. They have to have some way in which you can impact upon other people's lives in a positive way and touch their souls in a positive way. Otherwise, it's sort of, you get all the money you want and all the prestige and status you want, and it'll be for nothing. I know people who are surgeons, and honestly, apart from big noting themselves, they contribute nothing to anyone. I mean, the patient might think they're God Almighty, but unfortunately, the surgeon thinks, and one in particular thinks he's God Almighty as well. And that affects all his relationships with everyone. And no one I know has a warm thought about this person, even though they have the status and the money. They have nothing else. At the end of the day, that's all they have. And that's a very lonely road to travel. You know, that's my 10 cents worth.
Yeah, no, that's why exactly the end of the exercise was, okay, now how do you take your gifts, your talents, your desires and share them with others? And how can you touch others? And that's also why I incorporated the core values. Like, what are your morals? What do you stand for? What is burning inside of you? Because, you know, for you, it's kind of, you see the end of it pretty clearly, but for others, we're right at the beginning, you know? And so just understanding, defining that, understanding that we're more than just the titles or more than just the one thing or the occupation, or, you know, that we allow ourselves to branch out into more, that we allow ourselves to see ourselves, to perceive ourselves as bigger than just the one thing. Or, you know, because what do they ask the kids in school? What are you going to be when you grow up? Okay, what are you going to school to? What do you know? It's kind of like limited to the one. Okay, so now you got the house, you got the car, you got the job. Okay, and maybe people have the hobbies along the way to just have fun, but, you know, to be able to have that broader view. All right, we're not just the one, we're the many. And through all of these beautiful experiences, we're able to connect on such a deeper level and affect others, and then have that effect. And it's right. You're right, Scott. You know, it's, you know, when you die, it's about how did, you know, what is the legacy that you left behind? You know, how did you make others feel? There's another great activity that we would do in different trainings. And it would be, you know, what would write out your obituary, you know, write it out. And what would people say about you? You know, what do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to look like? And Scrooge is your hero. And so, you know, that would be another fun thing that y'all fun. It is, you know, because it gets you out of that structured mind, because it's not going to read, you know, Scott worked in a hospital. I don't know that much, you know, but I know what you've shared. You worked in a hospital, lived here, and that, you know, that's not what it's going to read. And so do you know what it's going to read? You know, write it out, see, and then you're able in this lifetime right now, it's never too late. It's exactly the right moment, exactly the right time to create a new obituary, to create a new footprint, to create a new, you know, have different experiences and relationships, and you know, touch other people's lives on a deeper level. So the time is now. So this was fun. This was fun. You're right. It is a deep topic, and we can go into it as much as we want and really peel off the layers. But I feel like it is the day for that. So I'm really happy all of you showed and felt inspired to share You got something more for us? All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it come out. There we go. Let's hear it, Shock.
Well, yeah, it was just one more thing I wanted to share
Yeah,
real quick. And
sure.
it's funny, I was like, tossing around like, should I? But they actually did an
Always.
experiment. And I think it's funny, yeah, like that's the point I wanted to touch on about the whole holiday thing, was that they did an experiment on some kids, that they had them try their hand at this puzzle, right? And it was 2 different groups of kindergartners or something like that. And they had the kids try at the puzzle, and it was hard. And they couldn't, complete it. So they had one group dress up as, I think it was Batman and Dora the Explorer. Like they had a bunch of costumes, and they had the kids put them on and then go back and try.
Oh, wow.
Try their hand at the puzzles. And
That's
they had
great.
another group of kids just continue to be themselves. You know what I mean? And so what happened was that the kids who had the Batman and Dora the Explorer costumes on were like, hey, Batman, he would find a way. He would, like he would get this done. And same with Dora, like she would come up with an answer and complete the puzzle. And so, they timed them. And I think that the puzzle was either impossible or whatever. But at any event, it turned out that the kids who had the costumes on, that changed their image of who they were. When they put the costumes on, they turned into Batman. They turned into Dora the Explorer. And it kind of, those are imaginary characters, they don't exist. But what it did was that it opened up more of their personality, of where they can, dig deeper and get into those problem solving areas that they don't normally express. And so I thought that was powerful, because it's kind of the same thing with uniforms. And I'm glad that you brought this up too, Karen, was that, how they ask kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, what do you want to be? And I've always heard this thing that, like, when you go for an interview for a job, you should ask them not how much you're getting paid, although that's important, but like, what are you becoming, or who are you going to become at this job? Because you kind of turn into your job. Like, I used to coach kids soccer, and I really loved it. And like, I'd have my kids come up to me, and like kids would tell me that like they wanted to grow up and become a soccer coach too. And I was like, man, kid, I don't even want to be a soccer coach. But it's like, you're like looking at me as that, and so it's like, keeping that in mind, like, who are you? Like it's kind of up for you to choose, because you're not just what your job is. You're not just, like just a brother or a parent or whatever it is. It's like, it's up to you. Like, put on your costume, put on your uniform. Oh, that's the other thing that I wanted to say too, is that, yeah, with like cops and soldiers and stuff, like a lot of them will have problems at home, because when they come home with their uniform on, they're kind of still in that mode of like, G.I. Joe, and they're not that, partner or parent who is, comforting and understanding and cooperative. They're like kind of that drill sergeant still, because they come home with the uniform still on, and they really don't know how to take it off, even when they have it off. It's like they still are wearing it. So it's like, keeping in my mind of that your identity is multifaceted, and it's kind of, situational. You know what I mean? Like, you don't talk to your mom the same way that you talk to your girlfriend or your boyfriend, like it's kind of like, you have these different like modes of your personality. So I don't know, it's just a really interesting thing to keep in mind, that like you can kind of do what Eddie did and create your shirt, and be a damn superhero and find your superpower. Some really great stuff.
Exactly. No, that was beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing. We got Stu, and then we will wrap it up. We are at time. Let's hear from Stu. Glad to see your hand up.
Hi, Karen. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? It's been a minute.
Great. So my superpower,
There we go.
and I've got lots of them. I am I am the best at starting things.
I love it.
Finishing them, that's a different question. I'm an artist. I've done chainsaw carving, wood carving,
Wow.
carving whales. I do soapstone sculpture. I do palette art. I make barn stars out of pallets. I
Wow.
paint. I was working on this while I was listening to you
Wow.
guys. I just, and I'm attention deficit to the nines, and that's in itself is a gift. It's a superpower.
It is.
I because and this low hanging system, that this whole print on demand is just the answer to this superpower, because I can have 15 things going on at once,
Yeah.
and that's when I'm happiest. Is that I've got, you know, and oh, squirrel over there, right? There's squirrels everywhere. I got to do a mug on that. But what I'm getting from what you were talking about there, you know, we don't do that enough. Is ask people, what are you really good at, right? And another thing I don't think we do enough is compliment people.
Yes.
Give them praise for what they're
Exactly.
accomplishing, because, you know, when you have an intimate relationship with somebody, I mean, I'm talking like really intimate, you're giving something to each other that makes them feel good. It releases endorphins, right? It gets, you get that warm and fuzzy, and we can give people warm and fuzzies all the time if we want. And I feel sometimes people withhold that because they don't really want to pump you up type thing. What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
What's wrong with pumping somebody up? I mean, if you saw a tire that needed air, right, you'd pump it up. I think we need to do more of that. And it's just basically encouraging them to do more of what they do good. So there you go.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Stu. Perfect. That was a perfect ending to our conversation, because that's exactly what, you know, the point of it all was, is that we should praise each other. And, you know, it's like we should celebrate our successes. And that's and Deborah says we need a part 2. We got Fun Friday tomorrow that we get to hop on and share our successes and share the things that we love, and, you know, just praise each other and congratulate each other. And Stu, to hear the things that you do, wow, that is amazing. And what a talent, you know, like chainsaw carving, really? Wow. You know, that is like unbelievable. So that's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing that, because you see, it paints like a picture in our mind, and suddenly there's this option. Wow, he does this, and there's this option to do that. And like, look, we were talking and you were drawing, and it's like, wow. So chainsaw haircuts too, Scott is asking. All right, this is super fun. And thank you all for joining. Oh, we got one more. We have to wrap it up. Okay, real quick, Comfort Smith here real quick, because I've never heard from you yet. So I want to give you a chance. Yeah, you are on, you have to unmute yourself. You have to click. So if you're on a computer, it would be the space bar. You could click that. Or if it's on your phone, it would be the microphone, and you just kind of unmute that. I can ask to unmute you. Oh, you are unmuted. We just can't hear you? No. Let me see. You're not unmuted. Now you are unmuted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. No, I hear something coming in and out. All right, next time, tomorrow, we'll sign off for everyone here that is also waiting for the help call after this. You can put it in the chat while I'm speaking, Comfort Smith, and we can read it before we sign off. This was fantastic. Thank you all for joining. Thanks you everyone for participating and getting excited over these topics as well. I always appreciate that. After this call, I'm going to end the call. Your screen is going to say meeting ended. And then if you'd like to hop back into this Zoom call, the same link, you have a help call. Oh, I'm happy to hear, Comfort Smith, that you're happy to be here. That you have a help call with our community members, and they will be here to answer any questions and support you. And that right there, that's lifting each other up. That means that, you know, the other members have gone through the journey, they've been through the fire, and now they're here to share everything that they've learned with all of you. And that's just out of the kindness of their heart. So here you have it. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week, and enjoy Fun Friday tomorrow with John Lavinia. Bring your favorite hat, a joke.